Okay, my next step, seems as though I got that figured out. And see, if I wanted to, I could unplug these. I could pull this little fitting apart, because when it comes, this is apart, and then you just plug it in. There's a little plastic adapter thing there. That's going to be for pretty much any ceiling fan that has a light kit. Okay, but I'm going to look on top of this ceiling fan blades, these ceiling fan blades. Okay, first off, I want to make sure that none of these blades are loose. Okay, I have not checked this ceiling fan for 12 years. Okay, it still looks like it's in really good shape too, huh? And there's 3 screws up here, and I'm just going to check these. Those I got an 1/8 of a turn, 1/16 of a turn, and I'm just going to check them all. I'm not going to make an assumption at all. When you're trying to fix something, don't assume that all the blades are nice and tight. You might be surprised. See, those screws might be loose. I've had the whole support on each one of those loose before, and one was dangling so much that when I turned it on, I barely touched it. It was on a service call. I barely touched it and the whole thing fell off in my hand. The whole arm, kit and caboodle. It just fell off because the screws were so loose. And once the screws get loose a little bit, see this one I've got a 1/4 turn. Once the screws get loose a little bit, this thing's going to start wobbling, clunk, 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 and that unscrews the screw a little bit further. And the one I was working on, one of the screws fell out. I couldn't even find it because it came off months ago. The cleaners, it was a vacation condo, and the cleaners probably saw it on the ground vacuuming, thought it was something else, threw it away. So I was short one screw. I had to rummage around and find a screw to fix it, and I did. I'm not sure if I checked this one or not. I think I got all the blades now. Okay, and usually on these blades, if your ceiling fan has marks or these blades have discolored or something, look up on the top of your ceiling fan and you might find out it's a different design, different color, or what have you, and you can flip these around. Okay, so now I know that's tight. I'm going to check these screws, and each one of these brackets, you can't see it, but they're all attached with screws up here, and I'm going to check each ceiling fan to make sure the screws are tight. Okay, and usually the screw, you can tighten it with the Phillips screwdriver, or if the threads aren't deep enough, your screwdriver might kind of come off it. That's why I brought a standard one up here. And the screws up here have a slot all the way through for standard and the Phillips. Okay, and I'm using the slot because the Phillips wants to slide off, and with the slot I can tighten it just a hair more than I can with the Phillips for this particular one. Okay, I'm just gonna go around and check all these. This is my second blade. 2 screws per blade. There, I got 3. Man, I should have had some more light in here. Open up the windows or something. I opened up some and I thought that I had enough light. You got enough light to see the ceiling fan though. Ah, come on. Okay. Got all those. Now most of those were pretty tight. A couple of them I could tweak it just a hair Okay, and that's it for that. Oh, excuse me. Felt the sneeze coming on. Okay, so the fan blade itself could make it wobble. The bracket attachment there could make it wobble. And now I'm going to come up here. Oh, that's odd how that works. Okay, I'm going to have to get you up here so you can see there's two more things I still have to check. The two most important, well, I mean everything's important, but I'll show you what I'm talking about next. I just came down and looked at my video camera, and the battery symbol was flashing in the screen, so I hope you got all that. I screwed and tightened up any screw on top of the ceiling fan blades. I'm going to get you up there now. Okay. I came up here, and see, most usually have a pattern of 3 screws on top. Now see the fan blades? It's a lighter tanner color, and if your decor looks better with the tan, you can undo these screws, flip the blade around. Or if your blades have marks on them and they're all scratched up and gouged and who knows what, and you want the other color, just take those screws out. Okay, so I tightened up all those. I tightened up the screws for these brackets, because this bracket is from here to there. Okay, that's one bracket for there. So there's 2 screws up in there for each one, okay? 2 screws per bracket, 10 screws up in there. And this is a 5 blade, so if you had a 4 blade, it's different, or even a 3 blade. Okay, so now the next step. 2 more steps, Joe? What the heck are you talking about? Well, this one just happens to have this base, and it just kind of sits on there. And look at that. Could that have been clicking? I don't think so. I think this is just a cosmetic deal. See, there's no screws on this, no threads on it. That's kind of silly that it's like that. I don't really like that. But there's some screws in here. See this? There's a screw there, there's a screw there, and then this is a cotter pin. This middle one, it goes all the way through. Let's see if you can't see on the back side of that. I can't even see it now. Oh, I guess I can if I do the there. Hello. See right in there, there should be a cotter pin there, and this middle thing right there. See that? You want to make sure that's in, the cotter pin's in there, which it is, and there's just two set screws over on this side. And I don't know why they're so close on this one, but I'm gonna make sure that those 2 are tight. And see, there's a slot for Phillips right here. And there's also a slot that goes all the way through for a standard screwdriver. Well, I'm gonna check that next here. And then I'm gonna have to look up there. And usually I'm gonna have to take a quick look at that, because usually this top thing attaches with a couple screws here, and I'm not seeing anything on here. This might clip up here. I'm gonna have to use both hands with that. But lots of times you'll see a little nib with a cap there, and there you do the caps, and then this thing falls down. This has to come down to here, and there's not going to be much room up there, is there? Because this arm is so short. They should have. Sometimes when you buy a ceiling fan, that little arm extension piece, that small extension piece, they might have in the box like a 6-inch extension piece like that one, or an 8-inch, or maybe a 6-inch and a 12-inch or something. Had they had a longer extension piece on there, I would have put that on there. I'm sure of it. Then the ceiling fan would have been down a little bit lower. It's still fine. It still works fine and stuff. But the ceiling is like, oh shoot, 12 feet or so. See, this door here is an 8-foot tall door, and I know there's more than 2 feet from there on up. So it's probably 11.5, 12-foot tall ceiling. So with that, you'd have an extension rod, generally, you know, maybe 12 inches, 16 inches long even. But for this one, not the case.